you got to stick out, and it's a good feeling when you have a really great conversation with somebody and you instill trust in them.
Just genuinely, I'm here. What can I do? If I can help, great. When you need this by, I totally got your back. Other times, they just are literally cranky as can be.
First impressions, the way that phone is answered is humongous. Very, very important. All right, everybody, I'm joined here for a special Ridiculously Amazing Insurance Agent podcast with some new faces and friends. So everybody knows Therese Potter, but we have some confessions of a secret shopper here today. So these ladies will not disclose their real names for fear of persecution by agents out there they've secret shopped. But we do have a secret shopper force. So a couple of them agreed to be on our podcast to share a little bit about what we've learned. And this month is all about sales and sales training. So we know we're in a hard market, which means your sales training has to be spot on. So we thought it'd be fun to get these guys together and learn a little bit about what they're hearing and what they see out there. Before we begin, I'll just give you a little background on how we run our secret shoppers for those of you guys who don't know it. Each agency picks the secret shopper. They don't know who it is, but they pick the scenario. And usually it's buying a building or buying a home, moving to the area, and they're given the specifics and we're told either who to call or to call into the main line and just leave it to chance and see what happens. So afterwards, these ladies fill out a form, a survey, do a video and upload all the documentation. So I know one I recently reviewed with an agency. The agent quoted a carrier that they were trying to get rid of. So that was exciting to put another policy with them. So you have to inspect what you expect, and that's what secret shoppers do. So why don't we kick it off? And I'll just throw a question out there and anybody can answer. Tell us a little bit, like when you first call into agencies, what does a typical greeting look like? Maybe some that are really awesome and you feel like, wow, this is going to be a good call. Because I think for you guys, pretty much when that first person answers the phone, it sets a tone, right? Like, I know what I'm walking into, or oh my. I see the heads nodding. Is there anyone that wants to take that first one?
I'll say, most of my experiences are generally pretty great. Sometimes it's a receptionist and they ask who I'm calling for, and usually it's a prompt transfer or it's a direct call to the actual agent. In my experience, probably 8 times out of 10, they do pick up. Sometimes it goes to voicemail. I've had good experiences with callbacks. So, but usually it's it can be a warm and friendly feeling, or it can be sometimes you can sense that the tension that they're, a little bit busy, or, they kind of want to rush through the call. It's a mixture of things.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to add on that front?
I agree with you. I could tell right off the bat when they answer the phone. Like sometimes you can tell if someone's smiling, like when they're talking. That would be a great suggestion for me. Like smile while you're talking, because I can tell, if sometimes I'm like, do they hate their job? Because they definitely don't want to talk to me. So yeah, that initial greeting, it's like either I'm like this, or then I get like, they just want to get it going and get it done. Like barely any questions. I actually have 4 calls going right now. I did 2 callbacks earlier today, and one of them was like, didn't want to talk to me. So
how welcoming.
Yeah.
Don't you want to give them your money?
Yes. Yeah. All of it. Yeah.
So, as you guys are making those phone calls and then you get on with the agent, and obviously I think, I like to tell our internal team, a lot of clients come to us because things are not well in their agency, right? And that's okay, right? So we go to the doctor when we're not feeling well, or, you go seek a specialist because something's kind of off in the agency. So maybe I almost did it there. I won't say it. Secret Shopper 2. Maybe Secret Shopper 2, if you could share a little bit like how that quote process goes, right? So you do a lot of the commercial ones, and what's sort of been your experience on that front?
You mean me, right?
Yep, Secret Shopper 2. Yes, you are Secret.
Okay, that's me. Number 2. So the quote process, I think, is either 5-star or 0 stars. There's really in my opinion, which is where obviously you come in, especially when most of them are 0 stars. And it just blows my mind too, like you said in the beginning, about do you really want to make money, or are you just there for decoration and for fun? But the quote process can really go either way. And I think it comes down to the person wanting to do their job and do it well. There are some that are so genuinely interested in helping you with your life change, with whatever it might be. And there are others that I really think struggle to get through the day. That's just my opinion. I've been treated like garbage and I've been treated like royalty. Nowhere really in between. And it comes down to their process and the people that they hire. There are just some people that answer the phone like, what do you want? I'm not even kidding you. I think I've had someone say to me, what do you want? And others say, I am here and I am so excited you called in today. How can we help? So I don't know if that helped or not, but that's kind of been my.
No, I think it's good. I mean, you got the other Secret Shopper 1 and 3 laughing. So it seems like that resonated with everybody else on here too.
I mean, Kelly, that's why you're in business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like to say, and you know what? It's sometimes it's not the agent's fault, right? Sometimes they were never given a process, they were never given the tools, or sometimes we're secret shopping them because the agency knows this person's an issue and they need some concrete proof to say, hey, you're not really doing a great job here, right? Because if an agency doesn't record their phone calls, there's no great way to have somebody dead to rights of what does this really mean? And in insurance, I think people are so kind, they try to only be factual, not you have sold nothing this month. What's up? And the other dirty little secret is a lot of times insurance people service and sell. So they might be doing part of a job that's not their true calling in life, right? So I do want to say, because this is Confessions of a Secret Shopper, right? So, let's start Secret Shopper 3. What are some things that happen during these calls that really just turn you off as a consumer, right? Because obviously you're actively listening, trying to find things, but is there anything that kind of comes to mind that you're like, man, when they do this, if I didn't have to continue the process, I would end it right there and hang up the phone.
Yeah, I would probably say, when it feels very much like a transaction rather than really just wanting to engage with you. So I primarily will handle personal insurance. So that's hard because, you're making a big change in life. Usually my scenario, I'm relocating to the area, and it's really nice when you see somebody, jump right on that and say, oh, well, why are you relocating? And, when I mention I have a child, and they'll say, oh, the school system is amazing here. And, I love that. It's a turnoff when, it's just ask the questions and then just move on. And even when you just get like one quote, there's no like, oh, I'm going to place you here, or they don't ask for other lines of business too. Mm-hmm. Or they might ask, but it's very brief. And then they don't explain, here's the benefit for packaging these, it's going to cost less. You're going to have a stronger relationship with the company. There's a lot of selling points. There's a lot of missed points when you don't go there.
Sure. I think that's great. How about Secret Shopper number 1? What do you think? Is there anything that really turns you off during the process?
Same for me when it feels like a transaction where they're just like earlier today, it felt like she was just reading like her bullet points. And then she goes, how did you get referred here? And I said, oh, someone that works with my husband. I don't know his name. I can get it for you. Or no, I didn't even get that far. She didn't ask me what his name was. And I'm like, I typed that down. I'm like, she didn't ask me. I keep my little notes.
Yeah.
She didn't even ask me who it was. So what's the point, But yeah, when it feels transactional, or like they hear the kids in the background, like there's such an easy point for any mom, it'd be like, oh, you have kids. And for me, it's the same as you, Secret Shopper 3, where like I'm moving from where I am to somewhere way out. And they don't even mention that, which I think is so funny. It's a huge missed opportunity to like banter, have some kind of chatting,
Sure. And how about Secret Shopper 2? What turns you off during the process?
Very similar stories. We all seem to have similar stories, but there is just such an obvious miss when they care, they don't care, or like number 1 said about reading from a list of questions. Yeah. I mean, you really feel like you're actually talking to a computer sometimes rather than an actual human being. And it takes such little effort to just care a little bit. I've had some say, oh my gosh, I have family there. Oh my gosh, I have, I used to live there. Oh, I've been there. Oh, I went to a wedding there. Whatever. Like that little tiny sentence in the middle of your 25 questions makes it feel less transactional and more relational. And that builds rapport, as you know, and value in the agency. And you go back to them at the end when you've got all your quotes and say, okay, those guys were the nicest to work with. They seem like they're really genuinely going to look out for me and my best interest in pricing and all the things, versus just trying to, close another deal or whatever.
And I think it's interesting too, because we also teach people that, you also want to get that person to stop shopping, right? Like I have a good experience, I'm not necessarily going to go call the next person. I'm going to wait to see what this person has to say, because who really wants to spend their time shopping their insurance, right? So if all the needs are met, you have to influence them to not continue down the pike, right? So you give them all the information, and we give everybody all the information they need to quote, really. So then at the end, how typically are the people wrapping up the call? Is it like, let's set an appointment, I'll give you the quote by this time frame, or is it really kind of like loosey goosey as far as like, cool, I'll get in touch?
For me, it's mixed. I get a lot of like, I'll have it to you by the end of today, if not by tomorrow. And then there's some that say nothing. Like I had both today.
The both today just had no expectation. Like, cool. Yeah. When it's ready, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the same experience to Secret Shopper 2 and 3?
Yeah, I would say so. It's definitely a mixture. Some set the expectation and say, I'll get these right to you today, or, I've got a little bit on my plate right now, so it could be a couple of days, or there's no expectation. Okay, I'll work on this for you. And then it's kind of like, oh, okay. And I tell them, like, sometimes the scenario is, oh, we're going to be closing in a couple of weeks, like, need it soon.
Yeah. I also hate the idea of I have a lot on my plate. Like, that doesn't make me feel good as a prospect, right? Of like, well, I've got a lot of other things going on right now, so I will get to you when I can.
Or the best is when they say, I'm leaving for vacation. I'll get back to you when I get a chance. And the best ones for me are when they have zero idea how to get a hold of me after this call ends. No one asked me for my number. No one asked me for my email, unless they have a system where they're remember caller ID back in the day. Maybe they have caller ID and email ID all in the same phone call. I don't know. Otherwise, I don't know how they're going to get a hold of me again. And typically they don't. So that's the end of our call. They're like, basically they're saying, good luck, Chuck, and it's over. But they don't say that.
Yeah. And so, one thing we fight hard against is we don't believe that you should email the quote until you talk to somebody, because it's very complicated, right? Like, there's a lot of moving parts. And I can't ask for the business really on an email. Like, I can say, call me and we'll get this started. But the whole independent channel is here to educate and build relationships. And so it's like, let me get this off my desk. So just to be upfront, none of you really have insurance backgrounds, right? So maybe kissed into the insurance space. Okay, so you guys have a little bit. But, looking at these quotes, if you were looking at them, do you think you would understand everything in them to be able to make a decision if you were the average person?
Well, I am the average person. I don't handle.
You are not average, Secret Shopper
I'm
1.
below average on this because my husband's the one who does all the insurance on everything. So to be honest with you, I don't understand most of it. Now I have a little bit, I've been doing for a little bit now, but so I get some of it, but like, I'll have to Google some things. Like, I don't know what they mean. So for the average person, if I was really going to purchase this on my own, I would be lost. And most of them do not call. I usually just get the email. Let me know. I've had a few of them that will call and they'll explain to me and I'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Or that's what that, because I am like, I don't know. I'm one of those that'd be totally confused.
Yeah. And I think we should also talk about with that model, sometimes the emails go to junk or spam, right? So you don't always catch them in your inboxes. Is that fair to say? Like, I know all of you have had that happen once or twice. So if you're not actively checking that, it just feels like the agency kind of forgot about you.
Mm-hmm.
And that can be a little tricky as well. Like, why not just pick up the phone and say, at least I just sent you the quote. How's it going?
Yeah. And that's really the easiest follow-up warm call you could make, was just simply, did you get my email? Like, not intimidating, not forcing a sales tactic on you, just simply, did you get my email? And if the answer is no, then you can guide them through and there's your perfect in to build more rapport.
Yeah. So let's let that Secret Shopper 2 brings up a good point. Let's talk a little bit about the follow-up game, right? So, maybe they've emailed it, maybe there's none, right? Like, it's out into the universe. We're not really sure what happened to you guys on these people's desks, but there are people who do send it and there are people who email it. Like, what is the typical follow-up that you see after getting the quote?
Sometimes I will get a follow-up call. Sometimes I won't. Sometimes it'll be, I had actually an instance where a gentleman tried to email me a quote. I said I didn't get it. And then he sent me a email that had no subject, just the quote attached. And he's like, I hope this reaches you. And that was it. And it was like, ooh, okay.
How confident.
Yeah. And so, I verified that I had gotten it, but I will add to this. I did actually get a text from a person that I'm working with right now that said, hey, I just emailed you the quote. Did you get it? Check your spam folder, which I was like, oh, that's good that he kind of mentioned that, it was through text, but it was good.
Yeah. I think a lot of the agents don't have a consistent follow-up practice. It's like, I did the quote, and we always think, and this might resonate with you guys. We say most agencies have a quoting process, not a sales process. It's like, give me the information, quote the business, get it out the door like an assembly line. And then let's see what goes out there. But quotes take time. So it's kind of also a scenario where it's like, well, maybe all of our time's going to quoting, not closing, which nobody makes sense. We lose money when we quote. We don't make money until we bind. So if we flip it around, what are some things that on the Secret Shopper calls that have really stuck out that you're like, wow, that was really great? Is there any highlights that we can give people?
I have one that was most recent, I guess, within the last couple months. And I thought he was phenomenal. His personality to me is what I remember. He just sounded like a cheery, happy person. And he always sounded happy to talk to me. And everything he said was I want to help you. I want to get you the best deal. Let's bundle this. I'll get you this discount. I think he said, I'm going to drive by the house and take pictures or something so I can get a better feel and see what I can do for you. He checked in. I think he was the one that called as well as sent the quote and checked in after that. I thought his personality to me is what stood out. We had other conversation other than insurance.
So just kind of clicked.
The average one that connected with me, not knowing all the insurance jargon, I guess.
I'll definitely second that. It's definitely a personality thing. As somebody who is warm and friendly, because let's face it, nobody is excited to buy insurance.
Yeah.
And so you got to stick out, and it's a good feeling when you have a really great conversation with somebody and you instill trust in them.
Yeah. How about you, Secret Shopper 2? Anything stick out?
I get mostly agencies that honestly, I don't know why or how they're in business. I really don't get these happy experiences. I get nice people from time to time that are very polite and they're very nice, but they honestly, I feel like I'm forcing them to do their job most of the time. So that is so sad to say those words out loud, but it's true. I'm not going to candy coat it.
Yeah.
But the ones that would stick out if I was to give a positive in this negative world, I would just say that there are some that do, like you guys both said, genuinely care. And you can feel that in their voice, in their follow-up, if there is any, not necessarily harassing you with all kinds of communication, but just genuinely, I'm here. What can I do? If I can help, great. When you need this buy, I totally got your back. Other times, they just are literally cranky as can be. So I just think it really does come down to just simply caring. And you just know through the communication, whether or not they do, you can feel it.
Yeah, I think it's the difference between someone who's happy to talk to you or someone where we're like, wow, this is an inconvenience. I have to deal with this now today.
Totally.
And
yeah, I'm really sorry to say that.
No, we get it because we go into the agencies and, culture in an agency is a big thing. So when the culture is thriving, people are happy. People are like, yeah, let's go sell, let's go crush it. When the culture is not thriving, there's no sales goals, there's no leadership, there's no incentives, there's nothing. Then it's just like, well, I get paid the same no matter what, and nobody cares, and I'm already backlogged, so we'll just put it in the pile and see what happens. It's the whole quiet quitting thing, right? Of how many people are sitting there at their desks not doing it, and then how many agencies really track new business the way that they should to have that transparency of where is that quote? A lot of them are just out in la la land. So I want to conclude with this. I'd love all of you guys to give one tip, if you can think of one thing you wish that you could tell the agents out there that would make a difference, because we're big believers. I think a lot of agents think well, if the price is the cheapest, they buy. We like to say, if the price is the cheapest, that's fine. But we want to have such a great experience that they stop shopping. So they only give you that shop because they like you. Right. And so what is one tip you would give all secret shoppers? We'll just go in order. Secret Shopper 1.
The one tip I would say, well, probably multiple in one, is sound like you want to help me. Like we said, have a good personality over the phone and for me, I think reaching out, following up with the quoting process, and trying to get the customer the best deal. Because if I was on the phone with someone not knowing a lot about insurance, but we connected on a personal level, I would definitely 100% go with that person over the next one. If it was a little bit cheaper, but I feel like they didn't care, I'm going to go with the one that felt like cared.
And you build up that, is it safe to say, Secret Shopper One, that you build up like that trust, right? Like you probably give them a little bit more information. You're open to hearing about the umbrella. You're not like, no, just give me what I need. And like when 100%. They feel like they're just pushing you off, then you just kind of get like, let's get through the call as quick as possible because this sucks.
Exactly. I did that today. She asked if I wanted auto with it, but I knew she was reading a thing. I'm like, no, I'm good. But then that guy I was talking about asked the same question. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I'm good. And then she's probably like, okay.
He did say, okay.
Not like, well, you'll be missing the biggest discount on your
home.
He
didn't mention discount. I wrote that down. Like, how do you know?
She's got some good notes on Secret Shopper One over there for morning experience.
I have a lot of notes. Yeah.
All right. Secret Shopper 2. What's your biggest piece of advice?
So for me, I held the other day for 10 minutes before anyone even came on the line, let alone
like on hold music.
Yep. Either that or they literally said, hello, please hold. And I was literally watching my timer on my phone. This is in my notes too. Note taker friend over there. There is nothing like the phone process being negative from the get-go to the point where you're like, I think I called the cable company, not an insurance agency. And that unfortunately, it puts a negative feeling in you before you even actually get somebody. And then I got transferred 2 more times. And those hold times were even around the same. So it was like, it was pulling teeth to even get someone on the phone. That phone process, and that you can almost feel it in their organization process. Is it there? Is it not? And if it's not, you're just scared to work with these people altogether. I still went through it because of a friend over here who monitors everything, and I'm doing the thing and doing all the things, but the phone process can be the worst thing to just start out.
Yeah. Well, and then that sets the whole tone of the call off of like really difficultly too. And like imagine treating new business. So my thought process goes, if this is how long I wait for new business, how long am I gonna have to wait if I need something?
Yeah.
My house is on fire and I need to claim, and it's like, okay.
Yeah. I toughed it out, but it was not fun.
Yeah. 10 minutes. Oof. All right. Secret Shopper 3. It's like funny, but not funny, right? Like
I know.
Funny, but not funny.
Hey, I'm going to piggyback on Secret Shopper number 1 that she said in the beginning, smile while you're on the phone, because you can definitely hear it in a person's voice.
Yeah.
And I would say, take the opportunity to connect. There's so much competition out there. You really want to stand out from another agency or from just going online and getting your quotes there. So it's all about the experience.
Well, thank you guys for everything that you do. Therese, do you have anything to add before we wrap these guys up? Because it sounds like some of them have to put some notes in our system on their Secret Shopper calls before they explode, or somebody breaks into your home, Secret Shopper 1, and steals them, so you can't tell them what's up.
I would just say first impressions are amazing. I did some outbound phone calls the other day, and somebody actually did answer, how can I make this the best phone call of your day? And I was like, oh, wow. So, and I think they may have heard us or worked with us before, because that's one of Kelly's ones that she does all the time. And they knew who I was when I called. First impressions, the way that phone is answered is humongous. Very, very important. Just being friendly. Being friendly is like these 3 say, that's one of the most important things, building that rapport.
So everybody out there, listen to what these ladies are saying. This is not like random. And if you're interested in learning more about our Secret Shoppers, I say join our sales training program. We have it in-person, virtual, or all recorded. And you can get Secret Shopper calls if you want to test your agents. But I will leave you with this. As somebody who's gone and delivered these results to agencies, it is funny how defensive the agencies get. It's like, well, that was Taco Tuesday and there was a full moon. I think Shelly was out and we got 3 calls at the same time. So that's why I'm like, we did like 4 of them and all 4 came back like wildly unacceptable. So, so I get it's a vulnerable process, but if you want your team to be better, you have to know what the outsider thinks. And People won't remember what they pay for their insurance, but they'll remember how you make them feel. So you just have to go with that. So thank you everybody so much. We appreciate your time today, and check out our sales training program, everyone. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.